That said, we as grassroots organizers, it's time for us to analyze and evaluate how the fact that 1 million signatures, global outcry, everyone from Archbishop Desmond Tutu, former President Jimmy Carter, to the person that helped write the effective death penalty and anti-terrorism, and the death penalty, Bob Barr, who crafted, said that the way things was tried is not right. The fact that it reached the moment that they did, and Georgia still felt that it was okay to execute while the world was watching, we need to be strategic. And so I think what Lee said was important. We need to know our victories and know where we were successful, but we need to know what the hell just happened so that we can prevent the next huge high-profile case. Because we made it high-profile, they executed it anyway. There's a lesson here that needs to be learned, right? So that we know how to fight that person.
Well, Faith doesn't believe that the movement did anything wrong. The movement did everything right. Everything right with the Troy Davis case. It was the system that did that right. However, what Faith looks at is the fact that things evolve, and out of what happened, something new is emerging. And what's new is Faith looks at Martina Carrera, Troy Davis' sister, you see, and the struggle looks at, Faith looks at the passion that she brought to the struggle. She took that case literally around the world. And everybody in the abolitionist movement knew Martina. And Faith believes that there are thousands of Martinas out there in the families of men and women in the death house, and men and women who have been executed. There are voices out there who are shut up. You see, and what Faith believes is that out of all that has happened, what must emerge is that kind of passion to the movement. And therefore, Faith believes that the families need to be organized, and the families need to be put in the front of the struggle to abolish the death penalty, because those are the ones who have the most to lose, their loved ones. And so this is what Faith is saying. Faith is basically saying that this is not something to replace the grassroots movement. No. This is something to put in the front of the grassroots movement. And let me tell you something. People who were opposed to the death penalty found it very difficult speaking to Martina, because they were speaking to someone who was directly associated with Troy Davis, with someone in the death house. You see, and they were very careful about their words, because Martina was not stupid. And Martina knew what to say, when to say it, how to say it. She was very intelligent. She won arguments when it looked like she lost. So this is what Faith is saying. Faith is saying, there's a baby being born here. Let it be. Don't abort it. Let it be. Put these people in the front. Put them in the forefront of the movement. And that's a form of therapy also. Because as I said, people that died. My mother had her first stroke right after I was sentenced to death. And she had several strokes after that, and after that she passed as a result of the stroke. So yes, personal with me also. And it's just that the Troy Davis case showed the whole world the kind of effect, the damage that sentencing a person to death has on their family, their loved ones, and their best friends. So this is what, like I said, we did everything. We marched, we did everything. We called, we spoke, we went to meetings, we did everything that one could possibly do. And yet, Troy Davis was executed. So, and like I said, there's another angle to this, and it's collateral damage. I think the issue of collateral damage will work on the conscience of society. And I think people will look at the devastation of family and see their own family being possibly devastated by something like that. Or at least being able to imagine, relate to it. And therefore I think that can bring even more people over to the side of abolishing the death penalty in the United States.
And if I could add to line about Martina, okay, just going off Martina, Martina's this huge theory of she's the person that did Amnesty work on this case. She went to my executive director and said, you need to work on this case. And a little statement about Martina was his sister, Troy Davis, and she was diagnosed with breast cancer. However, made a commitment to herself and to her brother, and to a community of people that she wasn't going to die before her brother did. And she kept her promise until Troy's execution. She died shortly after. And Lawrence is right, without a person like Martina. So that's what we've learned. The lessons learned here are there, right, for us, for the safety. We need the Martinas of the world to lead the movement. And one thing that Troy did for us, in terms of Troy's life and death, is he could help move the movement, right? But now it's time for the movement to strategize.
I'm sure everyone has kind of seen the 2012 video, and actually my first thought when I watched it, beyond the other stuff, was why didn't we think of this? Right, and so it is high school English teacher, so I'm watching my 15 and 16-year-old students literally in 2 days. It went from not knowing hearing about anything to this is our fight, more important than anything in the world, forget taxes, forget math, we all need to go get coding. And so it's so amazing that this one, 27-minute video, that I guess was 5 or 10 or whatever, that one video made people, not just my students, but obviously around the country, around the world, all of a sudden pick up this call, really take it up. I've never seen anyone take up a call in my life. And so I'm wondering, is this a possibility? Because I know it's a little different because it deals more with the legal system as opposed to direct enemy, child soldiers. But I wonder, is this something that could be done? A project where it is presented, with this very, again, appealing American-looking male. But seriously, could we use that type of strategy to talk about awareness? Most of the I speak to never heard about the Troy Davis case until days before we was executed. Whereas people knew about it for years. And so what is it we can really do to make this such an urgent matter, the same kind of Coney thing? Because I think that is, social media and the use of, globally, I feel like that's something, and not filmmakers don't know how to do it, but is this a possibility, and can we do something like that to really bring this to light and get more people on the scene?
I think you're absolutely right. I have my own personal experience around 2012, I'll be honest, we'll get into that.
Oh yeah, that strategy, I don't even know that.
The strategy, it appeals to a particular demographic, which is the majority of the Black. So part of that is unhealthy, right? It feeds into something that already exists. That said, I watched that shit with glass and wine, because I was I read all the receipts, I had read all the people that were supporting it, the responses. What it was an extraordinarily well-made film that appealed to a number of different things. It appealed to you emotionally. It appealed to you mentally. One of the issues with that is that it had particular facts that it was dealt to for a number of different reasons. And so that was, but it did a call to action at the end, which was brilliant. But it was also extraordinarily well-made, well-edited, well-done. It took 8 years of production. We need to, Code 2012, my critique, what's it called? Code 2012? Yeah, and also the concept around it is also quite simple, quite visual, and very good. The call to action, I think, is the only thing that's ever happened in the past few years in terms of mobilizing people. It's the Code 2012. That said, I'll leave my own personal issue. But you're absolutely right. Every time things like this capture the imagination of the majority of people, there's an opportunity to learn from it. Occupy Wall Street, all these things. There's an opportunity to learn. Trust me, I was in the exam office what the heck? Trying to figure out ways that we can learn from the project without kind of mirroring ourselves in Africa.
Just real quickly, you guys can answer. Is there any kind of mobilization right now to hold the state of Georgia accountable for murder? Because that might be a strategy. Like, I know there's people on the show right now that deserve our attention, but that might be another strategy.
He loves that question, by the way.
Well, two things. After the Troy Davis case, I just said we got to boycott Georgia. We got to boycott Georgia. We got to identify the principal businesses in Georgia, which is Peaches, which is Peaches, CNN. Although CNN is not based there, it does a lot of business there. Coca-Cola. I mean, you know, for people in, I had a website up, asking people to sign on. People didn't sign on, period. So Georgia's going about doing what it's doing. In terms of holding Georgia, people are right now looking into the Troy Davis case. That's one of the things that Troy Davis asked, you know, before he was executed. He asked people to continue to investigate his innocence, the issue of his innocence. And so there are people who are delving into that, you know. But she mentioned it. I mean, the state of Georgia has no sense of guilt, simply because of that one law that was passed by, that was signed into law, that was introduced into law by our saxophone playing president, Jimmy Carter. I mean, Bill Clinton. I don't see why many more just give it all right, you know, but that's the effective, the anti-death penalty act. Anti-terrorist effective death penalty act. So as long as they claim that this country is going to be attacked by Arabs in some form or fashion or another, or somebody else, you know, something domestic, as long as they make that claim, the death penalty is supposed to be effective. Because everybody thought, when it was really originally introduced, that it was somehow tied to, if they find somebody who performs an act of terrorism in this country, then they could get the death penalty. That's what people thought. You see, people didn't originally think that that law was linked to anybody, anywhere who happens to kill somebody can be sentenced and summarily executed effectively and timely. And I mean, that law is unconstitutional because the law does what the Constitution says it should not do. It modifies the risk taker's cause.
And I'll just end with, like, unfortunately, you can't even call it murder. Like, murder is a multiple felony. What they did was a multiple felony.
Right.
How we get back in Georgia, so what does accountability look like right now, right? What accountability looks like is mobilizing a lot of Georgia and having a strategic plan. So we can one day say that was murder, right? Like, you might call it murder. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. You can boycott or whatever. I can have, like, the, whoever and the X, governor X on my shirt. We figure out creative grassroots ways on targeting and shaming Georgia. I think that in that, those little life criteria. I don't know. Anyway, thank you.
Well, I just want